wine of the week this week comes from Michel Chapoutier, one of the most famous names of the Rhone Valley in France. But the wine's not from the Rhone. In fact, it's not from France, it's from Australia. And Chapoutier has been making wine in Australia for quite a number of years now. But you know, that kind of whole thing of France and Australia, at one point really they were diametrically opposed. The whole philosophies were different and never the twain should meet. But more recently there have been a lot more contributions like this from French winemakers in Australia, such as Pascal Marchand from Burgundy making wines in Western Australia with Howard Park Winery. And this joint venture, or this project rather, in Australia by Chapoutier. The wine is rather playfully called Shiraz or Syrah, summing up the differences between the two cultures, and it's produced by Domaine Tournon for Chapoutier in Victoria. Victoria is the state with Melbourne as its capital, and a lot of good Pinot Noir and Chardonnay there, but some really good cooler climate Shiraz or Syrah too. So this wine, a 2008 vintage, has a really attractive nose. There's a real kind of graphite quality to this, a really kind of slightly smoky, slaty, graphitey edge to it, as well as a kind of floral character. It's quite lifted, quite bright, quite cool. There's definitely some pepper there, some cracked black pepper, and a nice firm black fruit, a kind of black curranty fruit. On the palate, it's lovely. It's medium bodied. There is some fleshiness and weight there, but that kind of cool black fruit reminds me of black cherries and black plums, especially biting into the skin of them, where you get that kind of freshness, that bittersweet tart quality. It's all really captured nicely in this wine. It's not heavy, it's not ponderous. There's no oak in the wine. It's just really, really kind of fresh, direct fruit flavours. Beautifully savoury, would go with all sorts of foods, anything from the grill, really good with game. If you can still get some venison, very good with that. Now it's $14.49 in odd bins, and to be absolutely honest, I think that's a little bit too much for it. I'm sure last year when the previous vintage was in, it was $12.99. But having said that, if you're buying a case at odd bins, there's a 20% discount and the price actually comes down to about £10.40, which for me makes it a really good buy because it's a really interesting wine and a very, very good wine. So it's the Michel Chapoutier Domaine Tournon Shiraz or Syrah 2008. It's in odd bins at $14.49 and it's this week's Wine of the Week.